Yes, I think it's taken. Welcome to D Infinity Live, the very bemused, slightly confused ones and twos podcast. I believe I am still William Big T Thrasher, and I believe I am still with Brendan Cass, Michael Jolly Barhola, and two special guests. Introduce yourselves, special guests.
I am Gerald Mott Jr. I write the tabletop gaming column for Ancient Cool News. I also own, produce, and audio engineer the Gamers Tavern podcast, which is hosted by...
I'm Ross Watson. I am not only the host of the Gamers Tavern podcast, I'm also a game designer, writer, and IP consultant.
Yeah, basically I write on his coattails.
And we are here live from the beautiful room 350F in Comicpalooza in Houston, Texas.
At the George R. Brown Convention Center.
I must say, thank you. I'm going to prove that we have a live audience. So cover your face if you wish to be anonymous, preferably with a Guy Fawkes mask. Oh, there we go. There's our live audience.
There are literally tens of them.
No. These are the ones who were able to overpower the others and get in.
That's right. Will has a wonderful radio voice.
If there was no...
Welcome to downtown Burbank.
For the record, I woke up... I know at least one of you guys heard me this morning. I woke up... Christian Bale Batman voice. I did not know I would be able to talk with this thing, so I'm very glad my voice came back.
I'm suddenly tempted to do this whole thing in character as Dr. Girlfriend.
Oh my God, no.
No, so
When are we going to get this thing started?
You go to the Reddit.
So
I want the omelet my body deserves.
is this just the format for the show, or are we leading into something?
Well, I know you had intended to lead into some of our other guests who would be up with us temporarily.
Oh, no, all I was suggesting is that we've got a big crew here at Comicpalooza. This is Skirmisher's big event of the year. So we are here representing Skirmisher Publishing, D Infinity Magazine. I'm also here representing the America's Haunted Road Trip of travel guides to haunted places people can visit. So what I was thinking is we could make this sort of an omnibus show where everybody who's part of our crew gets a chance to come up and talk for a couple of minutes about what they've been doing at the con, whether they've been to Comicpalooza before, what this experience has meant for them. We've never done this before where this many of us were sitting together in one room.
That's true.
And where we were doing it in front of other people. Normally, people get to IM in their comments or post them on our message boards.
That's right.
So I'm just thinking we can make this more interactive and show how much we appreciate how hard everybody has worked over the last several days to make this a successful convention.
So yeah, usually what happens is we'll respond live from people on either Twitter or Facebook or our own website.
And that one guy from Friendster.
And that one guy from Friendster. That's right. d-infinity.net or Twitter is roll d-infinity. That's usually how we do this. But since you guys are here in the room, are we going to have them raise their hands? This is an elementary.
Yeah, sure.
We'll charge them.
Third party.
We'll try that. Probably
Every
we'll
time
see
I
here.
go somewhere in this convention, I see skirmisher guys, like everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're working hard. They're not just standing around smoking a joint. They're actually getting out to the games and talking to people and running games. And I've been very impressed with what I've seen. It's working.
Since you mentioned running games, and we've got one day left here, the Skirmisher Games Pavilion has been doing gangbusters business. I wouldn't say business, but we're not really charging people.
Running games.
We've been running games
Continuously.
all day. People have been stopping in, having a good time.
And that
all
thing
sorts of different
is
games.
so freaking awesome. That setup you have.
Lord Wars.
The catapult.
The catapult.
Catapult thing.
Yeah,
It
that's
is literally,
the Lord
it's like
Wars.
6 square feet, miniature in scale at 28mm scale.
Yeah, it's like
But it's
1,000
like
square feet.
Yeah.
It is literally bigger than this room, I think, that we're in right now.
There's guys
It's all
catapults,
miniatures. It
and
is
they're just flinging
awesome.
What is
They did it last year as well.
What Daryl is describing is our H.G. Wells' Little Orc Wars rules, which we've been demoing for years in an ad hoc fashion, but just finally published. We just released this on Friday. And this is a set of rules that H.G. Wells wrote in 1913 and which we have co-opted into a fantasy system. So he used little spring-loaded cannons to resolve all his combat, and we actually use real, actual, tiny catapults to do all our combat with live catapult fire.
And real actual orcs.
And real actual orcs.
Real actual little.
One-inch tall orcs are literally walking around the floor.
But it's an intuitive game, and 2 people can play it. Or really, what's the most you've had playing this week?
I saw more than
Well,
I saw more
it's a
than
game
that.
for 2 or more players.
Right.
But we've had 8.
We had up to 8 players.
We had 8 players. It's limited only by the number of catapults you have, and yeah, no, that's really the only thing that limited.
That's it. A person comes in, you give them a catapult and 20 troops, and they can play for 15 minutes or an hour. We had some kids 2 years ago. They played 7 hours straight. So
Happiest parents ever.
I was about to say, these are the kids at last year's con that were sitting there the entire time playing the game.
Yeah.
Once you get a look at this setup, it just looks so gorgeous.
It's not just, the gaming stuff that you guys are doing, it's awesome. The room parties.
Oh,
The best I have ever seen at any convention ever.
I just about all knowledge of the room parties.
Really happy
Thank you
about
for
the
saying
room
that.
Yes.
I
We like hearing that.
highly appreciate the room parties, but I just about all knowledge of what happens.
Oh, and we're not tapping away on our keyboards tonight because we have margaritas in our hands. So we figured that was appropriate for a Texas game convention that we're all working hard at. So yeah, you're the manager of the game pavilion.
That's right.
And you basically had scheduled or as pickup games 120 GM hours of games.
Yeah.
So that means if you had 8 players show up for a game, that multiplies that 1 GM hour by 8.
Right.
You've got about 1,000 hours worth of player hours going up there, don't you?
We're getting more and more corporate every year. I think we can change our statistics enough that I could probably get into the millions or thousands of player hours if I get it going up high enough.
A lot.
A lot.
To shifting paradigms.
There we go.
Shifting paradigms.
Oh, what have you 2 been up to?
Oh, well, Daryl, why don't you?
He and I played a Pathfinder game with the guys who run Dungeon Stone. It is a 3D miniature. I hate saying the competitors, but if you know Dwarven Forge, it's completely compatible with them. It is real stone miniatures. It's 3D, and they still do stone. I love Dwarven Forge. These guys, I'm not going to pick favorites, but these guys are local Houston guys. I know them.
Their stuff is really nice.
And that's Leo Monahan. He's the
Yes.
owner of Dungeon Stone.
Yeah, I have literally for science took one of their things and tested it over. Okay, set it on a table and then you accidentally brush it off and it lands on carpet. It bounces.
That is the
Hardwood, it bounces.
isn't it? It's
Linoleum, it
it's
bounces.
the toughest minions, right?
Yeah.
Ceramic tile,
Right.
the tile got screwed up.
Right.
I am so sorry, Gary. I literally, to get one of these things to break, had to spike it on asphalt.
Well, Leo made
It split in half.
Leo,
and glued back together.
Leo made a section of wall, and we don't have big favorites either between Dwarven Forge or because we've actually had a relationship with them, skirmishes with them. But Leo came by and had a meeting with us yesterday and showed us a mock-up of some fortress wall pieces that he's going to be making, that we're going to be selling as a branded Little Orc Wars line of fortifications.
Nice.
So we might not have favorites, but we will have ones with our branding.
The game they ran for us was actually really fun. It was a cool little dungeon exploration mission that took us through this big cavern setup that they made with their 3D terrain, and it showed off all the really cool things you can do with the Dungeon Stone terrain.
Yeah.
And it was not just like let me show you the cool things we have. It was a real actual adventure that was actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
I won't use the word obsession, but this is an obsession for Leo. He's real. I mean, if you talk to him, he can talk to you for 20 minutes about how long it took him to formulate the stone compound. This isn't stock stuff. He's actually formulated that himself.
I am a science nerd. I follow Neil deGrasse Tyson on Twitter and Facebook. Phil Plate, big fan of his. Trying to talk to him about anything, so he will talk your ear off like a PhD in geology. That's how well he knows what he does. It is fascinating to listen to him. So, If you get a chance, definitely check out stuff.
Now, he definitely has a point of view because he took a look at one of our models made by another company. I'm not going to say which one. And he held up his piece of wall that he had made as a prototype. He said, I could take this and just smash this, and mine wouldn't be affected at all. So, okay, well, that we believe you.
I got to play some Tefra actually today. With
Mhm.
That's that steampunk game, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, right.
it's a really interesting little steampunk.
It's
world.
elves with boots and muskets.
There's definitely muskets. There's definitely elves.
And that's Andrew Burrow. And just to show you that our caddy comments aside, he was the first outside guest ever on this show.
Right.
Wow.
So we go back with Daniel and
Tefra has been at every single con I've gone to in Texas. They're the coolest guys ever.
They represent their product extremely.
They go to cons in Texas wearing steampunk long sleeve shirts and vests all day long. I showed up here Friday wearing my suit and tie. I'm not wearing my trademark suit and tie right now because it's Texas in May.
Right.
And he's mentioned seeing the skirmisher guys all around. We always do full uniform. So it's black polo, khaki pants, combat boots till the blisters rupture, and optional black headgear. So we try to have that sort of distinctive look.
It was easy to pick out of a crowd, that's for sure. You just look for the shirt with the skirmisher skulls.
Yeah, it's sort of a contemporary stormtrooper.
Yeah, I'm interested in picking you guys' brain. It's Sunday, so we've been here for 3 days at Comicpalooza, and we saw things that were good, okay, maybe things that could have been done better. I have a few ideas of things we want to change. What do you think would, gaming-wise, make Comicpalooza even better than what we're doing right now?
You want to start?
Well, for me, that would be a hard question to answer. I think Joe Charles and the gaming guys here actually ran a very, very smooth operation.
Yes, they did.
Everything.
Joe is excellent.
I'm going to jump in just for a second. Comicpalooza last year was the first convention I covered for any cool news professionally in tabletop gaming. So seeing what gaming was last year, it was great last year. This year was 1,000 times better for tabletop gaming. It was just so awesome.
Yeah.
All props to anyone involved behind the scenes, all the volunteers, everyone who's doing everything.
Jason Yarnell.
Jason, yeah, from D3.
D3 Adventures, yeah.
Yep.
And he kept the panels running very, very smoothly. We were always exactly where we needed to be.
Well, he's a sharp guy.
Yeah. He moderated all the panels I was on this weekend. And we had some great panels. We talked about designing monsters, designing games, and how to get into the games industry. And it was really fun, really good time. It's hard for me to pick out anything and say, what I would do better in the gaming track, because I honestly was very, very satisfied.
Well, I guess we've got a skirmisher game pavilion, which was about 2,000 square feet of gaming. We had 5 tables in there, 1,000 square foot of little workhorse. I guess when we look at improvements, we can only look to ourselves. We can just say, oh, what would we do better next time? And Brendan was in charge of that. He's the smartest one of us. And we've I think broken the code on a few things.
Yeah.
Schedule less. Many of us are used to a Gen Con kind of culture where people just pre-register for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't sunk in with the comic crowd yet. Even the people interested in gaming, they don't pre-register for things. So we're really seeing a lot more pickup games, a lot more open gaming. So it's really just, and we've actually shifted our model a bit.
As much as we could.
During the convention.
Because what we would like to do, and it would be, have a staff of GMs available, give people a categorized list of games that they can play, RPGs, war games, board games, and so on. Say, we can play any of these, and then have our people run through it.
Yeah, the scheduling, I think, that's a good point. There might be one area where they might improve a little bit. Because, as you say, a lot of the pickup games were really where things were happening.
That's right.
The Tefra game I
That's right.
Pickup game. And when we played Dungeon Stone, we signed up for it. They were limited. But there were like 4 or 5 extra people who showed up saying, hey, can we play?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, I'm sorry, I don't have so many spots open.
Sure.
So, yeah, the pickup stuff is really strong here. I think that's a good thing.
And what you're saying, that is Texas convention thing. I don't know if it's. I've never been to Gen Con. This year is going to be my first year at Gen Con.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I
they're not ready
am
for
so overwhelmed of Gen Con. But,
It's not.
Let it be.
You're supposed to catch that.
My whole
threw a
switch
ball at a
kicked
nerd.
in.
You threw a ball at a nerd. What did you expect him to do? I did this.
Viewers, the most amazing thing is happening away
The
from
crowd
the
is
camera.
going into it. Anyway, I was saying something before a beach ball flew in my head. What was going on?
About Gen Con?
Oh yeah, Gen Con's my first year, and I think that's the Texas thing that every con I've gone to has had their game schedule up on their website or had their game schedule somewhere, and nobody pre-registers for anything except for Pathfinder Society.
Right.
They will pre-register. It's launched, boom, Pathfinder Society has booked 20 tables.
Well, and they also, a lot of them, from what I understand, pre-register for every game, even though they've got like triple and quadruple conflicts. So they go through later and pick the ones they really want to play. So not necessarily a positive thing.
Yeah, and that's a big difference between a lot of the cons around here is at Gen Con you have to pay $2 to $6. I think it's $4 for
the tickets, right?
Yeah, you have to pay money to play these games. The Texas cons, it's just literally you sign up to reserve your spot.
That's right. Yeah.
So that makes that's what lets people to.
That's
what
true.
lets-
That's a good point.
Next year,
Next
too, I scheduled to run a game at 10 o'clock on Friday morning, and unfortunately, like, no one yet in the building at 10 o'clock because they opened for.
Well, that's right.
They opened for tickets at 9, but the line just went on and on and on. So about 10:15, I was just like, yeah, there's just no way it's going to work.
That's a lesson learned for us. We don't schedule anything before noon anymore. I mean, we'll say that the pavilion's open, and we'll have open gaming available, card games ready to go. But registered stuff, we don't do it before noon.
And I'm definitely coming back next year to run Edge of the Empire here, so I will keep that in mind when I run Edge of the Empire next year at Comicpalooza in an afternoon slot.
Yes.
And from the point of view of consumers, from attendees, I've spoken with Joe Charles quite a bit about the Comicpalooza Games site. So that's comicpaloozagames.com. He created that site. It
is an independent site from the Comicpalooza.
Yeah, that's right. He did that himself. It's a good site. It's a solid site. It's user-friendly. It's easy to use. And then next year, he's adding all sorts of bells and whistles. Will this be the first fatality on the Infinity Live?
Not quite. Hang on.
Should I smack you?
Okay, I'm better now.
So he's going to be adding, allow us to put up logos and pictures of cool books affiliated with the system or graphic to go with it, stored in different ways. It's just going to be much more powerful and more user-friendly.
Well, it's great now, but I do appreciate your Joffrey impersonation there. That was pretty good.
He didn't follow the
That's the only.
Yeah, I'm not that big of a.
Wait, was that a spoiler? Should I be angry? How furious should I be?
Please do not think that I am that big of a. Any insert word here.
If Joffrey and the Hound had a child, it would be.
What? Magic.
Seriously, dude.
Look, that
wizard
makes you royalty and a very dangerous comeback.
Well, it's
so
like
come
making
on.
him an owlbear. It's taking 2.
and also an incestuous love child.
The monster design panel. How long did you guys have been talking about owlbears?
Oh, probably a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, just about elves. That panel was awesome.
Somebody should get some still shots put up on the website too.
To go along with this video.
I'd say we're in rare form tonight. It's a little all too common.
Maybe
but
medium
still.
rare.
Medium rare. So do we want to? Do you have any other structured questions you want to ask, or do we want to bring up some fresh blood here to sort of talk about what they?
No, there's no blood like fresh blood.
Fresh
Right?
blood,
Who
fresh
do we want to invite?
One of us.
Where's our guest
Except
going to go?
They're going to sit right here.
Okay, so we kind of look behind them and they stand there. And we talk to them.
It'll be
So
the
just
thing,
the
like
operating
the
creature?
thing.
All right, let's try it with one. Who do you want to have?
What, do you want someone from our team? Or,
No, anyone who's part of the skirmisher team.
yes,
Come up and talk about their experience.
You, sir.
All right. I see you're pointing at John Kadolf. So come around here, John.
Yeah, in fact, I prefer my seat to you, and I'll look really weird by like having a Pac-Man head.
Okay, I know we're John, you are our retail manager. You've been managing.
Wait, I'm gonna do a reenactment. Oh Lord.
Oh no.
For Will Thrasher.
From,
all right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
John Kadolf, you are the retail booth manager for Skirmisher and Infinity. So you've been running booth 635, our big 400 square foot booth space down on the convention floor.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us about your experience with that and the crowd and anything else you've done?
Sure. Well, we affectionately call it the hexagon because we actually restructured the tables so that it's hexagon shaped, and we just like that. But anyway,
it's game appropriate.
It is, and that's one of the reasons that we did it. But
you got a good location in here, actually. I think in the dealer's hall.
The what?
You got a good location in the hall.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We're right in the middle of it all. Yeah. We see a lot of people going by. Of course, it's a comic convention, not a gaming convention. So there's a challenge there that we're talking to people that are there to purchase art, to go get signatures.
There were a lot of
celebrities.
artists. There were a lot of artists.
Yeah.
And good ones.
What do you guys
Very good
think?
ones.
There were a lot of artists there. Were there enough game companies there?
Yeah, there were.
Well,
think
they
so?
were all.
Right.
Yeah.
If we want to be the only ones there, that's the.
There were plenty of game companies there.
For the record, I am in the process. Last week I have moved from one house to another. It's the only time in my entire life I have said I own too many games because I now have to move them from. Also, now get out.
Well, we did run into a couple of guys that have games that are kind of associated with these things, like the Atomic Robo guys and the Atomic Robo RPG.
Oh, yeah.
David Peterson and the Mouse Guard RPG. We had a great conversation with David about his game and Luke Crane and all the work that they've done on that. So there are definitely people here who are afoot in both worlds.
That's right. Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, and you get crossover. I'm here, like I said, doing the paranormal track for the convention. So I'm running a dozen ghost hunting and paranormal investigation seminars. So yeah, there's crossover.
And they got that. And there was also the science faction track, which was all science NASA guys doing talks on missions to Mars.
Real astronauts.
Real people who have been to space, not just us guys who are playing games about going to space. You have? Really? No.
But it's believable.
Knowing the people in this industry, I know I will not be surprised anymore. On our podcast the other week, we had on Gamer 7, we had who was it?
Just because you wear adult diapers doesn't make you an actor.
That's right. You have to have a claw hammer and some goofies in a bag.
But no, we had someone on our podcast the other day who designed buttons for the British.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, Nathan Dowdell.
And we run into so many Brandon. I am never
Brandon O'Carey.
So maybe it's the margarita speaking, but I think we poached John's opportunity.
So sorry, John.
Continue, John.
All right.
We're sorry.
No, I've got one.
Don't let us deflect you.
John,
That's
stop
okay.
being such a wimp. Why do you not talk?
Can I just stand up on the
No.
You'll spill 5 drinks at serious. 5 drinks.
Seriously gonna get
John, why haven't you started talking yet?
Okay, what I was saying is that being a comic convention and not a gaming convention, we have to literally pull people from the crowd as they walk by and go, art? No. Anybody signing something? No. And they just keep walking. We have to go up and grab them and pull them back and ask them what they're doing at the convention. Ask them what kind of games they play, if they play any games, and if they don't, we still talk to them, about what gaming is and how important that is in the community for kids as well as for adults. And we always send people upstairs to play Little Orc Wars because who wants to just walk around at a convention for 12 hours a day the entire time?
Right.
If you can go blow off some steam, fire some catapults, and learn a little bit about gaming, that really broadens a lot of people's minds who are only looking at artwork and who are only standing in line for an hour and a half to get a signature from something.
I spoke with a woman who eventually did come play Little Orc Wars at the end of the day. She waited in line to get a signature for 8 hours. She was in line for 8 hours at this convention to get signatures from the folks, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And if those 8 hours for that, she could have fired 10,000 pieces of shot.
Right.
And we would have pitied her for that. We would have given her a free copy of our new
That's-
Infinity magazine.
That's exactly
So
right.
that's right.
So,
And that really,
and,
no, my turn.
okay.
What monster have you created?
I'm just looking like, wait, I was just looking, yes, this copy I already got earlier today.
That's another
Yes.
thing that we did at the booth is that we introduced everybody that we talked to what the Infinity magazine really is and why it's called Roll D Infinity instead of just some other number there. And it's because we don't just have one platform. We write as a conglomerate for every game platform out there. And we try to produce material that anyone can use who picks up a copy of D Infinity and pages through it. They're going to find something in there that they can use for their game
That's right. That's right.
or
I'm
for
going to tell you right now, I've looked through these. I met these guys last year at the con. I've gotten many. This is what Dragon Magazine was way back in the day. You know?
And that's
That's our
what
model.
inspired it. That's
Yeah.
exactly what inspired
When
it.
someone opens this magazine, we want them to have one article that ties in, one or more articles that tie into the game they play.
Mhm.
So say, oh, I can use that with my game. One or more articles that are quality with a game they don't play, so say, oh, I'd like to try that.
I'm on a panel. I don't need to be reading that now. Sorry.
and then we have about a third of the material in any given issue, sometimes as much as a half, is universal stuff that can really get plugged into just about anything.
And
So it's a
80 pages
universal
long.
supplement.
Yeah.
80 pages long. It's not like a
And,
small
It's not.
and it is the back cover of this issue. Tokens you can cut out.
Tokens that go with a full board game.
Yeah.
Dagon Rising, an
Oh,
entire
I did not see
board
that.
game. Yeah, hold back a couple pages.
Crap, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a complete
There's a
board game.
full Cthulhu board game.
It's
And
a
we've always got
By
miniatures.
Will.
Always
by,
got
by,
miniatures.
by Will. He designed
Oh, yeah, no,
It
we
is.
do all this crap.
Yes. Yeah. It's a completely self-standing game. You get that, you're actually getting a game in addition to all the other
Yeah.
helpful
Now,
stuff
is
that
Infinity
came up with.
looking for contributors?
We clamor for more people, more fresh perspectives,
Well, one
more
of the
game
things-
systems. It just makes it that much better all
One
the
of the
time.
things I did, this weekend was did a lot of panels, and some of them were how you get into the industry. And
Mhm.
one of the things we talked about was like writing for
Because
Dragon
the old-
Magazine used to be the way that you did that.
Yeah.
And now,
Yes.
of course, there really isn't that around. So I thought maybe next time if I talk to people about
Yeah.
how to get into the
Yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
I'll mention
Team Infinity. It's a good start.
There's Guy Gags magazine, but it's being written by all the guys who wrote for Dragon.
Right. Mike,
And me. I've got another.
And to your
That's
point-
more. Yeah.
to your point, Mike, back in the day, how did you introduce to D&D the Kukri and Punching Dagger?
Oh, wow.
How did you do that?
In Dragon Magazine.
Exactly.
So in Dragon Magazine, Dragon Magazine number 189, in 1993, I had an article called, what was it? Rhino's Horn and Crocodile's Armor or something. But it's about Indian arms and armor. And I introduced two weapons in that article 21 years ago. The kukri, so this sort of half axe, half fighting knife, and the punch dagger, the guitar. And that was the introduction. Dragon Magazine was official content.
Right.
And that was the first time those magazines were, those weapons were statted officially.
Right.
So I introduced them to the canon for second edition D&D, and the kukri and the punch dagger have been part of the canon since then. That's why a little tiny contribution. If you see a kukri or a guitar in a D&D variant game, then they're there because I statted them back in 1993.
I've had characters use as weapons, so thank you.
They
You're quite
are
welcome.
cool weapons, right? So make your mark, right, for a magazine like that, and then once you get your foot, you move on to whole
And then
freaking
21 years later, you'll be a margarita drinking old fart at a convention on your own radio show, and you can say, "In your face, look what I did."
It's the whole Gary Gygax cycle of success.
That's
the next
exactly
thing we have to do is organize our own convention just to promote
No,
ourselves.
no. This is just enough. And we say this is our third day at Comicpalooza. No, it's not. We came. Will and I and one of our associates came in on Wednesday night. Generally, we come in on Tuesday night, and we're just working months and months and months in advance leading up to this thing. So it looks like 4 days, but that is a palpable illusion.
Yeah, there was a lot of work that goes into running these cons.
That's the head.
Speaking of working cons, did you have more to say?
Oh, well, I was going to add just 2 more things that we did at the booth. Thank you, I appreciate that.
We gotta get our one of our other authors up here.
Okay, real quick, another thing that we did was we did signings, author signings. We had Lori, who is a
Ulrich?
Right, who is a fiction author, very cool mercenary romance, novels, very good stuff. And the
Ken Gerhardt,
who's a cryptozoologist, and he had a good showing as well. And
he's very popular.
Are those guys
very
affiliated with
popular.
Skirmisher Publishing?
No. Lori was an author guest at Dallas Comic and Pop Expo a couple months ago when I was up there, and I met her, and we traded books, and she said, I've got to do more conventions. And we said, come on out, if you've got to do more conventions, and you've got to do Comicpalooza. So we sort of have taken her under our wing, and she has a paranormal angle to some of her fiction, so we've got her on some of the paranormal panels I've been doing, and we just gave her an opportunity to do a signing. And then Ken, he's actually been on any number of, he's been on Monster Quest, a number of National Geographic shows. If you ever see a monster-oriented show with kind of a slim guy with a beard and a cowboy hat with a big skull on it, Ken Gerhardt. So we're very lucky to have him out here with us. So
and one last thing I have to plug is I was promoting and working the Rise of the Cult of Magma Pathfinder adventure that I had a Kickstarter go successful for last year. Sold a number of copies this year, and just want to let everybody know it's on Amazon.com, Drive-Thru-RPG, with additional content available, and that I will be launching a new Kickstarter for Part 2 coming up in August or September.
And we will
You have my cards, right, by the way?
Yes,
Let me know.
absolutely.
Let me know when that happens.
It's a cocktail.
Well, it kind of is.
Well, it kind of is.
For the record, this is the first time I've ever been on this side of the table in a panel in my entire life. This is my very first panel.
Well,
And thank you very much for having us on.
We will be promoting Rise of the Cult of Magma and the following stuff at D-Infinity Online, d-infinity.net, because now we've publicly announced you're doing it. You'll be in default if you don't start blogging.
Oh, yes, I will. You'll see my name on the
Oh,
wall.
thank you, John.
Thank you very much,
What you got coming up next, Brendan? Will, is it one of our affiliates from the Great White North, Michigan?
Did we spin the wheel?
Chris, get out of here.
We need it.
Now, I'd like to point out, it's interesting, Comicpalooza's tagline is the Texas International Comic Convention. And we have nothing to do with that being the tagline for Comicpalooza, but I will point out that we have an international crew here. We had 2 people come down from Canada, different places in Canada. I mean, I thought there were only like 14 people up there, so I assumed they knew each other, but they didn't. It was weird. And then we had a friend of ours, Steve, who's going to be coming up and chatting with us presently. He's in from Detroit, right? Detroit. Will's in from Frankfort, Kentucky. You're coming in from Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia, yeah.
I'm from San Antonio, west of here. And then you guys,
Austin.
I live in a crap old town, Broward, Texas.
Wonderful. See, so a lot of variety there. And then who else did we have? Oh, Clint. Is that it?
Clint has to
He's in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to welcome Chris Van Deelen. He is one of our Canadians. He's the author of some of our Mutant Future books. Mutant Future is a retro clone.
You actually forgot we had someone from down under, and not Pete. Although thank you,
Oh,
Pete. We know you're
Brooke
watching.
Look, you're not going to remember your wife. I'm not going to remember.
I didn't forget you. Actually, my wife came, and she actually did a lot of work in the booth as well.
Yeah, well, she did.
Absolutely
She did.
sure everybody knows
Yeah.
that. She worked her tail off, and,
Yeah.
I'm going to help her put it back on.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, good. So yeah, we have an international crew here as well. So Chris is a developer for Mutant Future, which is a Gamma World retro clone. He writes books that are so big, we're having trouble figuring out how we're going to publish them. He also is a fantasy author. He had a great story called The Right published in the fantasy anthology, The Swords of Coast Hekaton, which is a fantasy world. Coast is a fantasy world that we've invented, and we have a shared world fiction project whereby many of us write stories for it. Chris wrote a great story called The Right for Swords of Coast Hekaton. He's got a full-length novel that I'm 120,000 words, and I'm well into editing it. I think I'm into
Congratulations.
word 2,000 right now. So I just have 118,000 words to go, and then we'll get that published. But welcome. Enough saying wonderful things about you. Tell us about your experience here at Comicpalooza.
Well, I can say one thing for sure. Never invite this Calgarian again. I did a terrible job.
Oh, no, not true. We pick on you. You're invited. There's got to be one in every group.
Well,
But
exactly.
it's nice to watch you back.
Hey, you guys always give me a hard time on the podcast, so
Yes,
I
we
gotta
do.
keep it going. I love it, man.
Yeah.
If you guys start treating me with decency and respect, I don't know what the hell's going on.
There's always respect. Always respect.
I'm just kidding.
So tell us what you've been up to here, Colin.
Fighting off whatever the hell hit me this morning. Trying to get to know people, making my presence known with not just you guys, but a lot of other artists and everything down in there, looking around, and trying to help out at the table. I sold one thing for you guys.
Yeah, but you know, selling is part of being at the booth. Being a body to keep people from carting stuff off is part of being at the booth.
So actually, you invite me down to be the bodyguard, so I can use my kung fu skills.
We didn't say bodyguard. No, it's just more like a scarecrow kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, Love's definitely ugly enough for that.
Did you catch the con crud? Is that what happened?
Sorry?
Did you catch the con crud?
Con crud.
He's got some con crud. It's
Yeah.
been going around.
Yeah.
Is it local loss or is that just
Well, no,
being shot?
by the way, the party last night was awesome. I got a chance to talk to Kevin J. Anderson for actually about 20 minutes, so that was really
And
good.
he didn't even
Yes,
have
he
to pay
was.
for it.
Exactly.
Or wait 3 hours.
Or wait 3 hours.
Exactly. Met the wrestler. Oh, I cannot stand wrestling. The Hurricane. He didn't have
Gregory
it.
Helms. I ran into him last night. I'm a huge mark for Gregory Helms, the Hurricane. He is. I love him. I got to meet him last night.
We did not throw his ass out of the party till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
that was, I think, wasn't the time you threw all of us out?
He wouldn't leave, and he's the hurricane. So he's like, "Hey, dog, you're gonna share, keep drinking." I'm like, "Oh, please, God."
Hurricane
parties
parties until the hurricanes.
It's true. It's true.
He's an awesome guy, and the party was awesome. I do remember we got shut down about 4 a.m. and everyone's like, a guy dressed like Captain, it wasn't Nathan Fillion, but a guy dressed like Captain Hammer was like, hey, can I take, I've apparently got a reputation. I am the Cards Against Humanity guy at these conventions. I have people who will randomly walk up to me and say, oh, did you play Cards Against Humanity? I'm like, yeah, I always do, but apparently it's my thing. And there's a thing to be known for.
At least you've got a thing.
Yeah, I have no problem being that guy, but what happened was we had gone, someone came up to me and said, hey, we're going to head downstairs and do, oh, it was you?
No, I stole the cards from your bag. You told me the cards from the bag.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
for
we
me.
had to get
Awesome.
that going.
Someone wanted to get started and I was bouncing around the party.
So, Chris, we tend to interrupt you. Keep going.
Sorry.
No, it's because it was so loud last night.
Uh-huh.
I'm practically screaming. When I got back to my room, I was whispering. My wife was wondering what the hell was wrong with me. I was wondering what was wrong with me. Went to bed, woke up 9:30 this morning, and I was just so... No, I don't drink, so I wasn't hungover or anything. I was so...
The adrenaline.
I was just so damn... No, I was sick. I meant...
Christian Bale voice, like,
I couldn't even talk. But I couldn't go to bed till 11:30, and that's when I finally managed to get over it. I think it was
Stayed in
about
bed till 11:30.
Well, I woke up at 9:30,
Yeah.
and I could not physically move. I was that sick.
Yeah,
But anyways,
other
other
than at 4, got up at 8.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
But no, other than that, it's been a lot of fun. You know, my legs are killing me from standing and walking around. It was actually.
leave and keep rolling.
Oh, are you kidding, man? Unless something's broken, I won't take any painkillers.
I'm
I'm an idiot. Okay,
we're big fans of
macho.
self-medication.
That's self-medication. That's right.
Hey, come on, the only
To enduring what makes us stronger.
That's right.
Or as I like to tell the students
There's more
that I
ice in the
teach,
bag up there, guys.
pain is nothing but
Yeah,
weakness in the body, and they just start laughing at me.
Matt Greer right in front of the
You know, I heard that every
Ross
day
can get
here.
us the ice.
Yeah, well, no, that's where I got it from, and they used to start laughing, say that Mr. Van Dalen, you're full of, what? And which is pretty amazing coming from an 8-year-old.
Now, wait, which 8-year-old? What are we talking
One
about?
of the students, when I'm training the kids that come through, one of the things I like to say if they start whining is, pain's just weakness leaving the body, and they
All right.
laugh,
You moved away from
cry.
Comicpalooza. You're out of here. All right. Well, we're glad you're here.
Okay, well, anyways, just before I leave,
All right.
it's been a great time, and it's been a learning experience, and I know if I come back, what I am definitely going to need to prepare for, and
A uniform.
Yeah, that's
a
the
uniform. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that.
When you come back,
When you come
you'll
back.
have your shit figured out, and it'll all turn out even better.
it's it's been a bit of a confusing time, but hey, I had fun. So.
And no, you were great.
You're great.
You need to
You're
come back
great.
next year.
It's,
Get your book with your books on it, so you're actually be a published author next year with your book on everything.
Well,
That'll be-
and Heck comes out, and he's actually in the published anthology
Right.
that we have at our booth
That's what I'm
already.
saying, though. Next year when he comes back,
He's
he'll
going to have, what are we calling it? Dark something?
Dark Inheritance.
Dark Inheritance.
Yeah,
That's a great
Oh
title.
yeah, and the posters for the cover it's actually up at the booth.
Oh,
So I'm looking forward to seeing you next year
Yeah.
with your book. That's awesome.
Okay, cool.
Steve.
come on up, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
All right,
Steve!
oh, no, come back.
I know.
Oh, you gotta
Yeah,
have
yeah,
some margarita.
Fuel.
Steve.
Steve Netman is a close friend of ours who's actually been part of our Gen Con crew, which is cool. We, as a company, have been doing Gen Con since 2002 and had a pretty big presence there some years. So Steve really stepped up and showed what he was made of at some previous Gen Cons. And ever since then, we've been honored to have him be part of our crew. And you've just been working like a devil. I mean, you've been running Little Lore Board, you've been doing social media for us. Tell us about your Comicpalooza experience.
I have. So first off, I'm going to have to take a weekend when I fly back to Detroit. This has been an extension of the work. Like you said, we've been very busy. We've been out promoting Skirmisher to a lot of walk-ins and a lot of people that are interested in playing the games that we have going on in the Games Pavilion.
Right?
And prior to that, I was trying to get ramped up on some of the social media aspects, building us a Twitter presence that was piggybacking off of some of the success of the Comicpalooza.
That was overdue. That was a real asset. So that was a big deal that we did that.
And we're going to try to continue to develop that.
Yeah.
Right now I'm focused on the D-Infinity aspects, so follow us on Twitter at RollDinfinity. That's it, that's the handle. So go ahead and follow that and help us build our presence so that we can really get the word out quickly and supplement our Facebook efforts.
Is that roll D? Is there a dash?
There's no dash.
So it's
Dash.
just D-Infinity.
That's right.
One word.
Twitter doesn't do dashes.
How do I get that sideways 8 on my keyboard? I can't seem to find it.
You turn it this way.
Oh, there. I turned the phone sideways.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
And I might also point out that everybody with Skirmisher wears several hats at these things. We got an elite crew this year. I mean, we got a top-notch crew. But you and Brendan were bartenders at our annual party last night, weren't you? You were
That's
awesome.
correct. We were
How many drinks did you pour last night?
Thousands. Can you count?
Easily thousands.
At least 5 for me.
The
So-
thing that got me is that we ran out of cups. Our guests
Before we ran out of
ran out of booze.
Ran out of booze.
So next time we're gonna have to double the cup budget.
We still have booze left over. That's right. We're actually carrying margarita buckets with us around the convention floor just to drink it up, so it won't go to waste.
What's new about that, though?
Usually it's hip flasks full of rum. That's standard.
Or insecticide diffusers.
There you have it. But this is taking it to a new level.
Right.
So right, speaking of hats, we're gonna have to source some of the hats with Benji straw.
Oh, yeah.
So that we can
Which-
up our game.
I would like to point out, Comicpalooza has a strict no alcohol, so this is actually empty.
As is
Good to
this. As is the big margarita bucket. It's empty now, too.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna-
completely-
No, we'll be
it is completely empty.
And I'm gonna do my best to make this empty very soon.
Right. But so, you are kind of new to the world of gaming in a lot of ways, aren't you?
I am. I'm probably the most novice, certainly of the people on this panel, and of a lot of the people who participate in our games in the pavilion. And it's been great to really get on board and to start playing some games. You know, I do some board games at home, but we don't do too much in the way of tabletop gaming.
Right.
So that's been a pretty cool experience. Little Orc Wars has been a big part of what I've been doing this weekend, running that for a lot of walk-ins. So certainly going to take that back to Detroit and introduce it to that community. And,
That's good.
But see, you know what that brings though, because you're into it, new into it. It gives as a developer, I think, it's something that I think all developers would be able to benefit from because a lot of them, and I'm not even going to say we're excluded from this. We can get pretty far up our own asses, just because we've designed the game, we're already and having that novice outside perspective
is good.
Is good because if they look at this
and say, "Ooh, this is I don't know what to do with this.
There is no way I could get into this without heavy coaching."
And I'll edit game rules, and I'll look at them and I'll say, "I know he knows what he's talking about."
Right.
I don't know what he's talking about.
And I'll tell you, I've been in that boat before when I've taken a look at a new style of game that I'm familiar with and really have to sit and suffer through it the first couple times. But Little Orc Wars is really not like that at all. It's been very easy. We've had a lot of kids coming up and playing it with their parents.
It's very intuitive. When people come up and they see people shooting catapults, nobody has to say, "What's this all about?"
Exactly.
I know what it's about.
So, no, excellent experience with that, and we've been getting a great response.
Good. Yeah. Well, it's been good to have you with us.
Absolutely. Do you want to have come up next?
I think it's great to see new gamers like yourself.
That's it
get
for our
involved
group.
in things that get conventions like this.
Yeah.
It's awesome to have you, especially, and the people like that you represent, the younger guys who are coming in. It's just really great. So thank you from me, definitely, for showing up and helping out you guys.
As someone else who has been considered a professional in the industry for about a year and a half now, yes, we love new people.
You're a professional in the industry?
Ish.
See, I don't have to use the quotes.
I don't. This is what I do.
Okay.
Drop the mic.
Okay. The young lady's not here anymore, so I can do that.
What? I was just trying to understand what punctuation I needed.
You needed the little infinity sign.
Right.
Which I believe is Shift-Alt-8.
Or
Shift-Alt-4.
That was an interesting double
Sometimes you
thing.
can't hear me, it's because I'm in parentheses.
Yeah. I'm speaking in italics right now.
It's kind of awesome.
Will, you had your
Stay back.
Oh, thank you.
And we've got our 5 minutes to do our last word.
Oh,
We on the last
We
word?
are done.
Well, I'd say before we get to the last word, let's
Here
set.
for an hour.
Yeah, okay.
Wow.
Have we really?
Before we get to the last word, I would just like to remind everyone this is the end of day 3 of Comicpalooza. If you're in Houston, if you're in striking distance of Houston, if you can get here tomorrow, there's one more whole day of the convention. So if you're local, you really need to
If you are local and you are a veteran of armed services, tomorrow in honor of Memorial Day, you have free admission to the con.
That's right. That's excellent. So yeah, if you can make it out, and if you can't make it this year, make it next year. Houston is the megalopolis. Don't say, well, I don't live in Texas. Get on a plane. Houston's a hub. Fly down here and be part of this great convention next year.
What were the numbers for me? I want to say someone quoted me before Stan Lee was announced. It said 50,000 people.
Well, all I know is that yesterday the official count, I believe, was 30,000 people in the George R. Brown Convention Center yesterday. It's a 1.3 million square foot.
That's triple. That's triple last year, and it's just going to get bigger next year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So
Come on out
we'll
for
see
it.
you next year.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we're going to do a last word. We go back through, and everybody gets an opportunity to sort of give a last statement on anything they want. So you can.
Just one word.
No. The last word. No, and I always.
Ampersand.
And they hate me because I always reserve. I always reserve the right to do that.
Isn't that trademark?
But-
What Wizards of the Coast now?
What?
That nuts,
You can't
yes.
ampersand. You can't trademark ampersand.
That's right.
They're going to try, you know.
Between them and the Tolkien estate. Ring and Nazi.
Oh man, we made a turn.
Right. So
That escalated quickly.
I almost made it worse. So I'm setting up now. What Ross say is.
Sure. No, Will gets to decide as primary host who gets which last word.
I'll just get mine out of the way and we'll work on down.
All right.
My own last word, had a great time today, had a great time yesterday, the day before. Very confident to have a great time tomorrow. I got to do a great play test of a board game I'm developing, Regicide Rises, today, under the Dagon Rises rules, because there's going to be different scenarios.
Dagon Rises is a mini version.
Oh, yeah. Made mainly for playtesting, and we, half the people playing were seasoned gamers, the other half not really. They just thought it looked cool, and just lots of good feedback. Comicpalooza is helping make that board game happen. Things work out well. The stars come right. I'm going to have a full physical copy in my hands next year, and I can't wait to show it off. And if I don't have it, I can't wait to tell you all the horror story about why I don't, and all the printers I'm going to have to fire, and the truck that got hijacked, which can happen. I've got a story, but that'll be for off camera.
And if we publish it, you can actually sell it at our booth.
Oh, heck yeah. It's a team effort.
There you go.
So that's my last word. Right?
Well, feedback is important, and we are now making sure that Twitter is going to be a big part of our social media presence. It wasn't something in the past, and just because Steve's going through all the effort to make that happen, follow us there. It's Skirmisher Games, at Skirmisher Games for Skirmisher Publishing, and D-Infinity has its own. So if you're looking for project updates, you want to know more about where Will is in his board game, or how far along we are in publishing Chris's massive tome of mutations, then at Skirmisher Games is a great place to go for that. And if you want lots of great multi-purpose, multi-platform gaming advice, at Roll D-Infinity. And then, of course, we're also on Facebook for both companies, and that's a good place to get that. Thanks for stopping by and watching the whole thing, guys.
Thank you.
Woo! Good deal. My last word is, if you could be here at Comicpalooza this year and have the opportunity to get the print editions of these publications we just released, that's great. D-Infinity Volume Number 6, The Mythos, and H.G. Wells' Little Orc Wars. If you couldn't be here, they're both available as PDF downloads from DriveThruRPG. So go ahead and check them out. And if you just want to read about what's in them, you can go to d-infinity.net. D-Infinity Online, and check out the information we have about them there.
My last word is simply a thank you to so many people. Thank you to Joe, who has been organizing the gaming at this convention.
Absolutely.
Thank you to Mike and the entire Skirmisher team. You guys have done so much. Again, my first professional convention that I covered was this con last year. There were 5 gaming panels. It was 4 of those. One of those 5 was your announcement when you did the launch of the sword thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised we haven't talked.
We didn't get around to covering it, but
We covered so much. We'll
But
get to it.
there were 4 other panels.
Yeah.
Right.
Jolly Blackburn on Friday at the exact same time as
Zachi.
Zachi. Saturday, Jolly Blackburn at the same time as Zachi.
Oh.
Those were the only, they were opposite each other. Those were the only things. There were at least 20 gaming panels this year, in some way, shape, or form, whether it was just Kickstarter games, or something like what we're doing here,
Right.
and what Ross did many times this weekend. 4 out of 5 now. You have 1 more tomorrow.
Yeah.
2. Yeah. And the panels have all been amazing. The audience has been amazing. The questions have been amazing. Gaming has been amazing. That ballroom, if you follow me on Twitter, @abstruse, you will see the picture I took last night when I just walked into the game hall and just, because it is a huge ballroom, the same ballroom they used for the Q&A for, Stan Lee and everyone else.
Right.
tables on the wall. There was not an empty table in that thing. So there was a lot of gaming going on and a lot of awesome people, and I've met lots of people here. So I want to say thank you to the convention organizers, and thank you to Skirmisher Games and D-Infinity for all the awesome things you have been doing for the community.
Well, thank you, and you're welcome, and we're glad that people see that. So that means a lot.
And check us out at gamerstavern.org.
And Ross,
Yep.
last word?
Also, I am very grateful to Comicpalooza for bringing me out as a guest of honor. It's been a really wonderful time out here doing all the things. And part of the awesome that is Comicpalooza is getting a chance to, first of all, meet my co-host for the first time, and meet the Skirmisher guys, who I have been on their show before. Meet them in person.
Face to face.
Well, I've met Will before, but the other two guys I've met for the first time. And both Skirmisher and the convention have made us feel very, very welcome. And I'm very grateful for that. Definitely, we want to bring these guys on our show at some point. So gamerstavern.org, and we'll try to get you guys hooked up. And I think the last things I want to mention are a couple of new things that are coming up for me. I just got my first short story published.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I remember hearing about this for the first time. What?
My first short story
You're
published
done.
in a book called Containment Protocols. It is a book for the Dead Zone miniature games. You can find it at manticdigital.com. And it was also just recently announced I am the lead writer of the Warhammer 40k Regicide video game, which you can check out at warhammer40kchess.com.
That is wonderful.
The trailer is awesome.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to come on the show.
No problem.
Thank you. We're glad to have you here.
Well, this has been quite a well-lubricated show, and I hope you all enjoyed it. So for all of us, whether we be D-Infinity, whether we be Skirmisher, whether we be Ain't It Cool News, whether we be Regicide, the gamers, whether we be Gamers Tavern, whatever it is we may be. This has been us live from Comicpalooza. We will see you all here next year.
You betcha we will.
And now I must go through the embarrassing ritual of walking up to cancel the signal. Oh, hey, can someone say push the button, Frank?
Push the button, Frank.
All right.